Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. If you like the video, please subscribe. Today we want to talk about voter fraud in Florida. We've got the title, Uncounted Ballots, Overvoted Ballots. Why is the governor claiming fraud in Florida's election? On Sunday, one candidate filed an affidavit in court from a fired poll worker who claimed to have witnessed elections employees filling out ballots before the 2016 election. So, filling out new ballots. It was unclear whether what the worker witnessed was wrongdoing or a routine process in which staffers fill out fresh, blank ballots to replace those that come in too bent, torn, or otherwise defective to be read by a machine. Hanging chads. In Broward County, so Broward and Palm Beach are where all the problems constantly occur in Florida. In Broward County, 22 rejected ballots were mixed with 180 valid ones and were counted. So invalid ballots are being counted with valid ballots. In Miami-Dade County, 266 mailed ballots passing through a sorting facility were delayed, and they arrived after the election deadline and were not counted. Also, there's also this lady, Brenda Snipes. There are protests. People are screaming. The slogan, Supervisor of Corruption. Brenda Snipes was appointed in 2003 by Jeb Bush. Since then, she's been reelected each time. She is accused, Brenda Snipes herself is accused of releasing voter information early, of destroying ballots, and of mixing invalid ballots with valid ballots. And the whole point of elections officials is to remove invalid ballots from valid ballots. So also Democratic Party voters in 4 counties sent voters altered election mail ballots listing November 8th as the deadline instead of November 5th. So those people receiving those ballots might have voted late, might have returned their ballots late. So is there election fraud occurring in Florida? Let's do a quick Celtic and then we'll drill down a little bit. Is there actual fraud, intentional fraud, in the elections occurring in Florida? Well, these are very positive cards. So is there actual election fraud? Butterfly Woman Cornerstone. Woman is a good situation. Could also be Brenda Snipes. Butterfly. Butterfly is light and beautiful. This could be a good experience, but a solid cornerstone. So it's either fraud or it's incompetence. Step by step. Another beautiful card. So beauty and beauty. Things are okay on the surface. And handcuffs. This is not fraud. This is not fraud. This is incompetence. That's a bit of a surprise for me. Let's ask about Brenda Snipes. Is Brenda Snipes intentionally committing fraud to benefit one side or the other? And I'm pretty sure she's a Democrat. Is Brenda Snipes intentionally committing fraud? All right, so we have Trinity, 4-leaf clover, olive tree, 10, 13, 4 hearts. Active in the situation, working with others for permanent results. Active in the situation, working. So even though these are positive cards, this says she's very actively doing something to change the permanent, to change the foundation, and the foundation. And she's working with others. She's not alone. She's not acting alone. Are illegals voting in the elections? Because I lived in South Florida, and I think there's more illegals living down there than actual citizens. And so this is a big concern. I mean, you can't have people who are not citizens voting in your elections. Are large amounts of illegals voting in the elections? Because that's a takeover of America. And I'm sure that's happening in California, because they're issuing voter cards to illegals in California, and they're doing it on purpose. Are large amounts of illegals voting in the elections in Florida? Mercury, yes. No. Cross. Oh, wow. 3 9s and cross. Permanent foundation. Cross is a marriage card. Mercury is sending the ballot. Yes, they are. And no. So no is a stop card. Yes is a go card. 18, 27. 27, which is cross. I think yes, they are. But they're voting, you know, every illegal has to live under a false identity. So they're using the identities of real people, and they're voting. So yes, they are voting, but they're voting as someone else. So that's what yes and no. What is this no for? What is this no card? Yeah, hand in hand. There are several people. Yeah. Yeah, so they're voting as somebody else. They're voting under their false identities. They also get guns under their false identities. This is a terrible problem. This is a terrible, terrible problem. Are they destroying ballots? Are elections officials intentionally destroying ballots? Player's a deceiver. Okay, so Ace of Spades is destroying the ballot. Are they destroying ballots? So deceptively destroying ballots, and it's kind of ordered. It's the ruler. This is kind of like intentional and systematic, and Ace of Spades. So this adds 13, 7, 21, which adds 6 hearts, karmic relationship. So this has actually been going on for a very long time. This kind of election fraud is specific and deceptive, but they are destroying ballots. They're destroying ballots. Will Brenda Snipes finally be fired? Will Brenda Snipes finally be fired? Okay, because there's been problems all the way back, many elections, okay, and it's always under Brenda Snipes. Is Brenda Snipes going to finally be fired? Is this going to be the end, finally, for Brenda Snipes? Water into wine, 3 black birds, karmic relationship. Water into Wine renews endlessly. 3 blackbirds. They're talking about this relationship with Brenda Snipes. They're considering it. I don't think she gets fired here. 14-17, 5 hearts. They're on the fence about it. It's not decided that she's going to be fired. She's just really useful. Okay. Are people using Brenda Snipes? Is Brenda Snipes part of a larger, are they using Brenda Snipes as like someone, a handy, dark hand, someone who will do dirty deeds done dirt cheap? Are they using her as like a black hand, a dirty hand to do these deeds? Is this kind of an organized thing and everybody's focusing on Brenda Snipes? Incubus, succubus, scapegoat. Wow. Wow. So, is this a much more organized effort to steal the election? Incubus, succubus, scapegoat, earthquake, veil. Scapegoat is a great sickness card. 6 spades, incubus, succubus is very selfish and just sucks the life right out of you. And 10 spades is a very bad ending. All 10s are completion and ending. Very bad ending. And hidden. So is she part of a much larger organizational kind of thing? Yeah, she is. The whole system down there is poisoned, and she's kind of running that poisoned system. She's running that poisoned system. Interesting. Let's review these cards and see what we have here, because this was just shockingly, strangely, weirdly positive. So is this intentional election fraud? And my initial look was, it didn't look like intentional fraud. There's a lot of beauty cards here. There's, they're trying to make everything look good on the surface and that there's a solid foundation, but they're committed to step-by-step following a process. And that's what they're telling you. So this is telling us that they're very committed to an honest process and showing us that there's an honest process, even though maybe that's not really what's going on. Is Snipes committing fraud? Well, very actively working with others in the foundation. She's very actively working with others in the foundation. And up here, I asked if there was a organized effort. It clearly is a very organized effort, and the whole system there in these 2 counties, Broward and Palm Beach, is very sick. I lived down in Miami. I almost lived in Palm Beach. I spent a lot of time in Palm Beach. So I know what it's like there. So the whole system is very, very sick and really needs to be, they need to come in and, with a big dumpster and just clear everything out and kind of start over in those counties, and to make sure that there's actually going to be honest voting in the future, because there's not. Are illegals voting in the elections? Hijacking America and voting in the elections. I got the yes card. I got 3 9s. Let's read what 3 9s is about. 9s end at when 9s are showing up, it's almost done. Okay, 4 9s indicate the finish line is in sight and a major life cycle is nearing completion. 3 9s and 2 9s in a reading indicate approaching the finish line and wrapping up final details of life's journey. Okay, so this is about very quick, very fast, very... So are illegals voting in the election? And then I threw some clarifies. Many. I got too many cards. So lots and lots of illegals are voting in the elections. Are illegals voting in the elections? Yes, permanently changing everything. Yes, they are permanently voting, permanently changing everything. But there's a whole lot of them. So yeah. That's worst case scenario. We're throwing away our country to people who are not citizens. Okay, any of these people can apply to become citizens and become citizens, but they're not, and because they won't qualify. So you don't want people in your country who cannot qualify to be citizens. Are they destroying ballots? Yes. This is destroying the ballot, and it's here we're getting more and more it's from the top. There's a systematic approach to destroying these ballots, and there's a lot of deception involved. And that's just how they do it down there. And so finally I asked, is there an organized effort? And it, you know, because everybody's fingering Brenda Snipes. She's the bad person. She's the bad girl. Well, she is a bad person. Okay, but it's not just Brenda Snipes. It's the whole process is completely sick and diseased. The whole process in these counties is very diseased, and they're just trying to hide it. And you're getting the worst possible result. You're getting whatever result they want to manipulate in the election, and that's not an election. That's a fraudulent outcome. So there is voter fraud going on. It's very endemic, and the system down there is very sick. And they really need to do something. They need to really fix the voting system in those two counties. And it's not just Brenda Snipes. It's a whole lot more than Brenda Snipes. It's everything. That's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. If you like the video, please subscribe.